Okay, ready for a crazy story?
Oh, I love crazy stories. Lay it on me.
Like World War II, the Nazis, the resistance, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. Heavy stuff. Lots of brave people fighting against impossible odds. What do you got?
Well, have you ever heard of a disease called Syndrome K?
Syndrome K? Can't say that I have. Sounds made up. Is it like a new thing?
It's definitely not new. It's from World War II, and yeah, it was totally made up.
Made up. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So picture this, 1943. Rome is under Nazi occupation. They've got the Jewish ghetto set up. They're rounding people up, deporting them to concentration camps. It's a really dark time.
Yeah, I can imagine. A really desperate situation.
Right in the middle of all this, you've got the Fate Beneficatelli Hospital.
Okay, a hospital. I see where this is going. Like a safe haven.
You got it. The staff there, the doctors, nurses, even the friars, they were incredibly brave. They decided to resist.
Resist? But how? I mean, it's a hospital, not a military base.
They got creative. They came up with this brilliant plan to protect the Jewish refugees who were hiding there.
Oh, I like where this is going.
They invented a fake disease. A really scary-sounding, contagious, deadly disease. Syndrome K.
Syndrome K. Like, just a name to scare people?
Exactly. And it worked. The Nazis were terrified of diseases spreading. They didn't want to go anywhere near it.
So they just told the Nazis that the hospital was full of Syndrome K patients, and the Nazis bought it.
They had to make it believable, right?
Sure.
So they coached the Jewish refugees on how to fake symptoms. Coughing, sweating, looking weak, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, pretending to be sick to avoid being sent to a concentration camp? That's some next-level courage right there.
Right. Talk about pressure. But they pulled it off. They even made fake medical charts to make it look official.
So the Nazis would show up, see all these sick people, and just run the other way.
Pretty much. They didn't want to risk getting infected with this mysterious, deadly Syndrome K. It was genius.
That is absolutely wild. How many people did they save?
That's the thing. It's hard to know for sure. Records from that time are a bit messy,
Yeah, wartime chaos, secret missions, I get it.
But historians think that Syndrome K probably saved dozens, maybe even hundreds of lives.
Wow. Just by using their wits and a little bit of theatrics, they outsmarted the Nazis and saved lives. It's amazing what people can do when they're determined.
It shows you that sometimes the most unexpected solutions are the most effective.
And the bravest.
Absolutely. But the story doesn't end there. There's a lot more to it.
There's more. Okay, I'm all ears. Spill it.
Well, we've got to talk about the people who made this whole thing happen.
Right, the masterminds behind Syndrome K. The heroes. Tell me everything. Who were they?
So the main guy behind all of this, the one who kind of steered the ship, was Dr. Giovanni Borromeo.
Sounds like a pretty important dude.
Oh, he was definitely a big deal at the hospital, head physician.
Head honcho, huh? Okay, so he's the one who came up with this whole Syndrome K thing. I mean, we don't know exactly who came up with the name or, like, the exact moment it all clicked. But Dr. Borromeo was totally on board with the plan, risked his neck to protect these people.
Yeah, I guess back then, helping Jewish refugees was basically signing your own death warrant, huh?
No kidding. The Nazis were ruthless. And it wasn't just Borromeo. There was another doctor, Adriano Ossicini. He was a key player, too.
2 doctors working together to outsmart the Nazis. Pretty cool.
It gets even cooler. Get this. They brought in a Jewish doctor, too, Vittorio Sacerdoti.
Wait, hold on. They brought a Jewish doctor into a hospital that was supposed to be treating a fake disease to hide Jewish people.
Yep. Pretty wild, right? But think about it. Sacerdoti had lost his job because of those anti-Semitic laws the Nazis had put in place.
So he knew exactly what these refugees were going through. He had skin in the game.
Exactly. And he was willing to risk everything to help them, to be part of the resistance.
So you've got these 3 doctors, all from different backgrounds, united by this common goal of saving lives. Talk about a powerful team.
Oh, and we can't forget about the friars. Those guys were awesome.
The friars, I thought they were just, praying and stuff. What did they have to do with all this?
They were a huge part of it. They were members of this order, the Order of San Juan de Dios.
San Juan de Dios. What is that, like Spanish or something?
It means St. John of God. And their whole motto is about caring for the sick and the poor.
So they weren't just there to offer spiritual guidance. They were actually involved in the medical care.
Big time. They were right there on the front lines, helping to create this illusion of Syndrome K, treating patients, offering support. It was a whole team effort.
So they basically turned their hospital into a secret fortress, protecting people from the Nazis.
Pretty much. They were like, nope, you Nazis stay out. We've got this super deadly Syndrome K in here, and you don't want to catch it.
And the Nazis were all like, eek, germs, we're out of here.
Something like that. It worked, though. That's what matters.
I gotta admit, this is way more intense than I thought it would be when we started this deep dive.
Right. Like, we started with a fake disease, and now we're talking about this whole network of resistance fighters.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else was going on back then. What other stories haven't we heard?
That's the thing about history. There's always more to discover, more to learn, more secrets waiting to be uncovered.
Okay, but wasn't everyone doing this? I mean, didn't some people get caught? Like, what happened to the Jewish people who weren't lucky enough to be hidden at the hospital?
Sadly, not everyone made it. That's the hard part of this whole story. Syndrome K was a bright spot, but there were a lot of people who weren't so lucky.
Yeah, it's kind of putting a damper on things a bit.
I get it. It's tough to balance the hope with the reality of what happened.
I guess that's the thing about history, right? It's not always happy endings. It's important to remember the people who suffered, too.
Absolutely. We can't forget them. Over 1,000 Roman Jews were deported to Auschwitz.
Auschwitz. Man, that's just, like, the worst.
It was a horrific place. A lot of those deported from Rome didn't survive.
So while those doctors and friars were fighting back in their own way, so many others were facing unimaginable horrors.
It's a stark reminder of the stakes involved in all of this. This wasn't just some game. It was life and death.
And those who resisted, they were putting everything on the line.
They were incredibly brave. They saw what was happening and they refused to stand by.
I kind of feel like we need a moment of silence here, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like so much to process.
Yeah.
All these stories of heroism and tragedy.
It's a lot to take in.
Okay, I think I'm ready to keep going. So, with all this talk of Syndrome K and the resistance, it makes you wonder why we don't hear more about it. You know, like, why isn't this a Hollywood movie yet?
Well, I think part of it is that the people involved weren't doing it for fame or anything. They were just trying to do the right thing. They weren't out there bragging about it.
Yeah, they were like undercover superheroes or something.
Right. And plus, a lot of the details were kept secret for a long time, to protect the people who were involved.
It's like a real-life spy thriller, all these secrets and hidden missions.
Exactly. And it wasn't until pretty recently that historians started to piece together the whole story of what happened at that hospital.
So we're lucky to even know about it, right?
We are, and that's why it's so important to share these stories, to keep the memory of those brave individuals alive.
So what can we do? I mean, besides, like, sharing this deep dive with everyone we know?
Well, I think it starts with just being curious about history, Don't just accept what you read in textbooks or see in documentaries. Go out there and dig a little deeper, ask questions, explore different perspectives.
It's like being a history detective.
Exactly. You never know what amazing stories you might uncover. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to find the next Syndrome K.
Whoa, hold up. Are you saying there might be other secret missions and fake diseases out there that we don't even know about?
It's entirely possible. History is full of surprises. That's what makes it so fascinating.
Mind blown. Okay, I'm officially on a mission to uncover all the hidden secrets of World War II.
That's the spirit. But seriously, even if you don't find any secret missions, just learning about history can be incredibly rewarding. It's like connecting with the past, understanding where we came from.
And maybe learning from their mistakes, right? So we don't repeat them.
Exactly. History can teach us so much about humanity, both the good and the bad.
Okay, I think my brain is officially full for today. This has been an incredible journey.
I agree. Syndrome K is a truly remarkable story, a testament to the power of the human spirit to resist even in the darkest of times.
And it shows us that even ordinary people can make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is a little creativity and a whole lot of courage.
Well said. And who knows, maybe out there listening right now is the next Dr. Borromeo or Sister Maria, someone who's going to change the world with their own act of defiance and compassion.
So to all our listeners out there, don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, fight for what's right, and never underestimate the power of your own actions to make a difference. You never know whose life you might touch.
Well said. That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible story of Syndrome K.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep making history